Welcome to the Perham Show. I am here with Lina Ballar, and we are at the new thrift store in Perham called the White Elephant.
Yes.
And this is a nonprofit thrift store.
Yes, it is. It was just opened last month in order to raise some money for the museums of Perham. So we have two wonderful museums, as you know, the History Museum of East Otter County and the ITOW Veterans Museum. And the thrift store is located in the building where the ITOW Veterans Museum is located. There's a section on the Main Street side that those of you who remember what the building used to be, you know, when it was a VFW, was the old bar section. And so this has not been remodeled or anything like that. We thought, well, it's just kind of empty space. We're not doing anything with it right now. And one of the board members had an idea, let's do a thrift store. And so we're doing a thrift store, and it's been really great.
Well, what a great idea. Yeah. And especially, I mean, you are so creative in the ways that you come up with to fund these wonderful programs and museums that we have here in Perham with grant funding and all of the things you do. But you know, this also is a great vehicle for people who have things that they want to donate, maybe things that they want to make sure, maybe a little bit, you know, better items that might be worth a little bit more money. You hate to throw it away. You know, and this way you can take a tax deduction on
exactly.
On
they're
it
all tax deductible because this is a nonprofit organization,
yeah.
And most of the things are going to retail pretty inexpensively. So it's also a great place to shop if you're looking for a gift or just want to have a little something nice for your home. I found this nice little vase here for $1. You know, I mean, gosh, it probably retailed for $15, $20 when it was new. So
yeah,
really
and
great.
You've got this.
And I have this little friend over here, and you know, he's only marked $1. But
well,
you know, we certainly welcome greater donations than $1. But most everything that you'll find here is pretty inexpensive.
Yeah, well, and I have this handmade knitted baby blanket. If you don't know the gender, the sex yet of the baby, here it is right here because it's got all those colors in it. And somebody has donated something that they don't need anymore, but it's a beautiful,
appreciate that generosity,
handmade baby blanket, and you have a wide variety of things. Now, what I notice, I don't see, you know, clothes much to speak of.
We don't really have a lot of space to do clothing. So what we're accepting is more like vintage clothing and apparel, accessories, those kinds of things. We would have space for that. Maybe if we expand or grow into that, that might be possible. But right now it's a little hard to handle a lot of clothing. And a lot of other places do that. So we're not going to really focus on that so much.
Yeah, well, and if you have clothes vintage clothing from the 50s and 60s and 70s and maybe even 80s now is considered a little bit vintage, and you can't fit into them anymore or whatever. Bring it on down.
And you can drop off stuff anytime on the Main Street entrance. We leave that door open, and there's a space inside the entry. That's the one on Main Street, 805 West Main. And you know, just drop it off, and there'll be a form there you can pick up, you know, to write in your tax deductible donation, or on our regular hours, which are Thursday and Friday from 9 to 1, you can come in and talk to somebody too about it.
Okay.
But we will have forms that you can use for your taxes.
Okay, so when your purchases now, are they cash, check, debit card, or you have the whole?
We have everything.
Okay, so people don't need to make sure that they've got, you know, $1 in their pocket. They come with the plastic that so many of us carry nowadays.
Yeah.
And
we could use that because we've got that at the museum. So
okay. And so those hours then, there's somebody here that can help them.
And those will be our regular hours to start with. And you know, as it grows, maybe we'll expand those hours, or maybe in the summertime. But for right now, it'll be Thursday and Friday. We're very fortunate we have an experienced works person who's going to be here on those days. And so in addition to the volunteers, you know, we've got some people that are regularly staffing it. So that's really, really great. So we're kind of excited about this.
Well,
you know, and all of the proceeds from activities like this, and particularly the thrift store, like I say, it was set up to support the museums. And we'll tell you in a few minutes a little bit more about some of the activities that are coming up.
Well, you made a great segue into the next section of the program. So stick with us. We'll be right back and talk about what's coming up. Welcome back to the Perham Show. I am here with Lina Ballar, who is the Executive Director of the East Otter Tail
History Museum of East Otter Tail. Friends of the History Museum of East Otter Tail County. It's a long name.
It is a long name. And the ITOW museums. Yeah, just think of the museums.
Museum.
It's always a pleasure to have you on, and you have so many exciting things that that you're doing all the time. But now you've got some things to talk about that are coming up.
Yes, we do. This month, in January 15th, Ministry of Jazz will be here so for some hot jazz for what I'm sure will be a cold night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Since we've had a few of them already, and we're not done with them yet. So come on down. Ministry of Jazz is a great group of jazz performers from the Fargo-Moorhead area who have been here in the past and thrilled people. They are just some of the best jazz musicians in the area. So especially trumpet players. You know, we really like trumpet players.
Yeah. What time is that going to be on the 15th?
That should start at 7 o'clock.
Okay. Okay, and what else you got going on?
Well, I have got a couple of things that I'm working on that we haven't exactly got a date yet for, and one is Ring of Kerry. We like to have them come back every year, and they do want to come. We just haven't settled on an exact date, probably end of February or in March. And then March 25th, we have another jazz group coming out of Fargo called the FM Kicks Band, and that's a big band. And that's really exciting about that, because that, you know, they can play a lot more, and even some dance music. So, you know, we might even have to find a venue that's a little bigger than the Veterans Museum for that. But otherwise, the concerts are at the Veterans Museum. And I've also been talking with Larry Long, who is the great singer-songwriter who did some programs here with the school years ago.
I remember
that Elders Wisdom Children's Songs program. And he's a great entertainer, just a wonderful person. He's put together a program for veterans, you know, kind of in honoring veterans. And so we want to do that at the museum here. And so we're looking for dates for that. We've got some exhibits planned for the spring and the summer that, again, you know, I don't have the exact dates on, but one of them was going to be about World War I, All Quiet on the Western Front. Anybody read that in school? I remember reading that when I was in 7th grade. I got in trouble because I learned a lot of words that I didn't know before by reading that. But it was a great book. It still is a great book. I read it a little long.
What are your exhibits that you have now going?
Right now, for the summer, for the winter time, we're sort of in a lull. You know, we took down one a little while ago, and we're kind of wait till you know, things pick up a little bit before we put another traveling exhibit up. We've got our permanent exhibits all the time. One of the ones that I'm also working on is the story of the creators of Curious George and their escape from Nazi Germany. So I think that would be kind of fun, even for the kids.
Absolutely.
You know, to do that.
Yes. Yeah, and your permanent exhibit here, if people, you know, and maybe people who come into the thrift store maybe have not been to the ITOW museum,
definitely want to make
or
a
the
trip for that
museum, and maybe that will kind of bring them into that
or
too.
If you haven't been here for a while, come through again. Or, you know, even if you've been through once, you haven't seen it all, I guarantee you. There's so much to see. There's so much to hear from these veteran stories.
Yeah, a little difficult for me to see. You know, sometimes people, when they go to museums, and there's tough, you know, there's everything is written down, and here at the ITOW museum,
you can hear it all.
Put the headphones on, and you can hear people tell their stories in their own words.
In their own words.
Wow. Yeah, that's what it's all about. So the hours we haven't been over to the History Museum for a while either. What have you got going on over there?
At the History Museum, we have our permanent exhibits, and, you know, looking for some new things for the spring and the summer. But right now, we have some great exhibits about the fraternal organizations. That's one of the temporary exhibits, you know, that have been here, and exhibits of, you know, about the area, people in the places of the area. Our genealogy lab is always busy. Even in the wintertime, we have people coming in, and we have a brand new microfilm reader there that we just got with some legacy money from the Minnesota Historical Society. We appreciate that support that we get from the state organizations like that.
Absolutely.
And so we had one, and it was it had a lot of miles on it. We used it for 10 years, and so now we have a brand new one, and so people will really enjoy that.
Oh, you'll have things to report soon too on you know, St. Stan's and what's going on with that over there. So give us a phone number again, Lina. So
call anytime for 346-7676 or 346-7678 if you want to reach here at the museum and at the thrift store. The thrift store, as we said earlier in the program, is open Thursday and Friday from 9 to 1. and we welcome donations and look forward to seeing you.
That sounds great. Thanks so much for being with us again on the Perham Show, and thank you for tuning in as well.